In this video, we're going to learn how to do polynomial long division. Whenever we do polynomial long division, we first start by looking at our largest polynomials. We want to figure out a number from which we take this x, and if we multiply it, it'll turn out to be 2x squared. Or in another way, how do we divide 2x squared divided by x? What would we get? Well, if we did that, 2x squared divided by x would just cancel out an x that we'd have here. So we would end up having 2x, meaning 2x times x gives us 2x squared. Since we multiplied it by this first value, since we have this on the top, we have to multiply it by the other value outside of our long division. So 2x times 2 would give us 4x. Now, just like regular long division, now we subtract this. We can subtract it by putting parentheses inside. So what that would do is, since we have a minus sign on the outside, we can change this to add. This would be a minus, and this would be a minus. 2x squared minus 2x squared would give us 0. Minus 5x minus 4x gives us minus 9x. Now we're going to drop down this value here, which is negative 18. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this x plus 2, and we want to take a look at x specifically at first, and we want to compare that to minus 9x. So how do we take x and multiply it so we get a minus 9x? And that's going to be a minus 9. Or again, you can take the minus 9x, divide it by this first value here, and you get a minus 9. Now the reason why we do that is just to get an idea of what we need to multiply negative 9 times x to get minus 9x. So now when we subtract it, we'll have a remainder of 0. But we have to do it, since we did it to this value first, we have to do it to the other value too. So negative 9 times 2 will give us minus 18. So when we subtract this, we changed our signs. So we'd have 0. Negative 18 plus 18 is 0. So we have a remainder of 0. So what that means is that if we have x plus 2 in parentheses multiplied by 2x minus 9, we would get this expression here. So this is our answer. Moving on to this example, again, we always take a look at our largest polynomials on either side. We need to figure out a number that if we multiply by 3x, we would get 15x squared. Or in other words, if we divided 15x squared divided by 3x, what would we get? And the answer would be 5x. Meaning a 5x times 3x squared would give us the same value that we have inside of our expression. So since we multiplied that by 3x, we also have to multiply it by negative 1, and that's going to give us negative 5x. So now that we have that, we're going to subtract. If we do subtraction, what we'll end up getting is this will cancel out, it'll be 0. Then we have x plus 5x, that'll be 6x, and we bring down our 2 here. So now that we have 3x minus 1, and we have 6x minus 2, what do we multiply 3x to get 6x? And that would be 2, right? 2 times 3x will give us 6x. 2 times negative 1 will give us minus 2. So if we subtract those, put this in parentheses if that makes it easier, and what we end up having is 0 and 0. So we have a remainder of 0, and what we have is that 3x minus 1 in parentheses times parentheses of 5x plus 2. If we multiplied that all out, we would get what's inside of our long division here. Now, if we have a polynomial greater than 2, if it's cubed, 4, 5, it will still follow the same process. We want to figure out what do we multiply y to get y cubed? That would be a y squared, right? Y squared times y will give us y cubed. Since we did it to that first value, we'll do it to the second. That would be a 3y squared here. We subtract this, and again, we could put this in parentheses as it makes it easier. And so what we end up having is this will cancel out. Then we'll have 4y squared. We drop down now our next variable, which will be 10y. So now we take a look, what do we multiply y to get 4y squared? And that's going to be a 4y, positive 4y. So 4y times y will give us 4y squared. If we do that to the other value of 3, that's going to give us a 12y. We subtract that, we're going to get here a negative 4, that will cancel out to 0. Then we will have a negative 2y minus 6, since we brought down the 6 now. And we'll follow the same steps now for multiplying out how do we get negative 2y from y. That would be a minus 2. So minus 2 times y will give us negative 2y. Negative 2 times 3 will give us minus 6. And that will give us a remainder of 0. So that means that y plus 3, in parentheses, multiplied by y squared plus 4y minus 2 will give us this expression in here. And this is our answer.